Dr. Linehan is the author of the DBT program, and she suggests there are four ways to deal with any problem. The first is problem solving, where you change the situation, or if you need to, you leave the situation. The remaining options are when there isn't a fix or a current solve to the problem. So the second option is to feel better or different about the problem, regulating the emotions that the problem elicits. Changing the way you think often is helpful to change the way that you feel. The third option is to tolerate the problem, to accept and tolerate the problem as well as your response to it while you're in the time period that the problem isn't solvable or if the problem is chronic. The fourth option, according to Marcia, is to stay miserable. What she means is sometimes we don't make any changes, and to be aware that we may be choosing that. Um, I add to this option that many of us need validation first about the suffering related to the problem before we can try the other options. Now let's apply this to when we are working on the DBT please skill with health problems. When we're using option one and working towards solving health problems, it's the tasks we work on to attend to our health. So scheduling appointments with needed providers, etc. It would also be taking our medication, doing exercise, whatever the treatments are for the health problem. The second option, if we're wanting to feel better about health problems, is attending to how we're thinking about the problems or symptoms and how that results in our feeling states. The third option, in terms of distress tolerance, where we are attempting to tolerate our health problem and symptoms, is accepting and tolerating the distress that our chronic health symptoms cause us. So handling it, staying with it, being able to um, not add suffering to our pain. The fourth option is to stay miserable about our health by not making any changes, or where we need validation first that our pain is difficult, that our pain is chronic, our pain is intense. Now we can apply this four option model to self-esteem. And this comes from the chapter in The Art of Extreme Self-Care, um, mirror work chapter, which can be challenging. So if we're looking at self-esteem, the first option of problem solving is to improve our low self-esteem. So these are the tasks we work on to attend to our mental health. So scheduling appointments with needed providers, doing our affirmations, doing journal work, doing cognitive behavioral therapy where we question our thoughts, etc. If that is not where we're at yet, we can look at option two, feeling better about our self-esteem, where we're attending to how we're thinking about our self-image and how that results in our feelings of low self-esteem. So just bringing awareness to cognitive behavioral aspects of self-esteem. The third option is to tolerate our self-esteem problems, accepting and tolerating the distress that our chronic shame symptoms may cause us. The fourth is to stay miserable regarding our self-esteem. Don't make any changes yet. And get validation first about our childhood set point that makes us feel that we have low self-esteem, or almost makes us feel stuck there. So let's go through these again back to health problems. So when our aim is to solve health problems that we can, and we're scheduling appointments and following through with treatment, we keep a list of health goals, break that into tasks, schedule and those tasks and appointments, and then follow through with taking our medications, etc. When we're working at feeling better about our health problems and attending to how we're thinking about problems and how that results in what we're feeling, In the Explain Pain book and group that's available through LifeStance, they suggest that for every signal of danger that pain evokes, we look for signals of safety in the environment to help regulate our nervous system. The third strategy of tolerating health problems and accepting um, our chronic health symptoms, we can use mindfulness of sensations and mindfulness of pain. In the fourth strategy, where we initially stay miserable and we're not making changes yet, we can talk about our distress and get and our pain and our health challenges that are chronic and get validation from our providers and our support group. Now, with self esteem, when we're looking at problem solving to improve low self esteem, these are the tasks that we work on to attend our mental health. To our mental health, scheduling appointments with needed providers, following through on our homework, etc. So we make mental health goals, incorporate regular strategies, and continue to schedule those strategies so we follow through and schedule our follow up appointments. The second strategy, attempting to feel better about our self esteem, involves regulating the emotions that our self esteem problems elicit, acknowledging our childhood experiences causing low self esteem set point where we feel it's stuck. Using then self esteem as a verb rather than just, oh, how much do I have? Um, Doing esteeming um, acts where we feel proud about ourselves, expecting people to respect us, setting boundaries, acting as if we're important and we matter, and choosing a different level of self esteem. And realizing that you don't have to agree with negative statements about yourself that habitually run through your mind. The third strategy, tolerating problems with self esteem, accepting and tolerating the distress our chronic shame symptoms may cause. Use grounding to cope with shame, which can be a trauma response and part of the fight or flight system. Feeling into whether the current state of our self esteem is actually a memory of an earlier time in our life. And finally, staying miserable regarding self esteem, just being mindful that we're not making changes yet and getting validation first about our childhood set point. Why do we need to say that we struggle with self esteem? Why do we need to have that recognized before we can become more flexible in this arena?